You know, when I finally transformed my physique completely and I actually built muscle and I looked aesthetic and I started to build that sex appeal that we all want as men, right? Everything started to change. There were some strange things that started to happen when I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to start to build my physique and I'm going to stand out from the rest of the crowd that I'm around. Now, the interesting thing was I was drifting more towards the entrepreneurial side, right? Wanted to start my own business, wanted to get into more, social media, wanted to really put myself out there. And what people don't realize, what a lot of men don't realize, is that when you're in the field of business, when you're in the field of social media, it's all about presentation. It's all about what is your inherent value, right? Yes, you have to know a lot. For example, with business, you have to know how to run a business. You have to know how to network with people. You have to understand the dynamics and all of the numbers and things like that. But there's a soft side to it that a lot of people don't understand, especially people who are entrepreneurs. When you get to a point where you transform your body and you have this aesthetic look and you start to build that sex appeal, because that is what happens when you transform your body. Your sex appeal goes through the roof. You get to a point where people start to look at you differently. Like, everybody started to look at me differently when I transformed my body, when I started to put muscle on, when I started to have the biceps, when my chest started to pop out of my shirt, all of that stuff. People started to look at me very differently. I started to gain a lot more respect. I started to get my own way in things. Being persuasive, being influential became significantly easier. And I've noticed this. People on social media, believe it or not, yeah, there are outliers, people who are skinny, who are fat, who still get a lot of people watching them. But they also have to act like monkeys. And people who are just like doing things just as charades and doing like weird TikTok viral dances and stuff like that. But the guys who really have authority, the guys who can speak from an authoritative perspective, for the most part, they all look like they're in shape because they're all in elite shape. They're all aesthetic. They all have that charisma. They all have that leadership capability that when they speak through a screen, people can start to actually listen to them and follow them. Even in business, the guy who's in shape tends to get a lot more attention and tends to close more deals, especially when it comes to sales, right? You look like the guy who actually has his shit together. And even with women, you become that guy. And again, I'm not talking about building your body like you would a bodybuilder, like a guy who's going on a show and you get all big and you look like a cartoon and shit like that. No. I've already went through that phase and I didn't even get to the point where I built my body like a cartoon because I didn't want to take steroids. So I stopped bodybuilding altogether. But when I made that initial transformation, that natural transformation, and even the transformation I have moving to this day, sex appeal went through the roof. You guys know, building a fuckable physique, that shit changes your whole reality. Because you have to understand that life as a man starts to change when your sex appeal is high. When you go into, because I was a tech founder as well, right? I had a tech company. When I would go into rooms, when I would go out with different founders and stuff like that, they liked being around me because they saw that women were attracted to me. They saw that I had the pull that they also didn't have because they neglected their physique. They cared more about the business side, which again, focus on both. Why not build a business while also building your body? Scale your business while you also scale your body. You can do both. When your sex appeal goes up, people don't realize this, especially with business when it comes to money and all of that type of stuff. You start to attract a lot more money. You start to attract people with money because you have that athlete effect, right? You look like you're actually a sport person. You're in sports. You look like you're actually on the move. You look like just a guy who matters. And it changes everything. Women start to look at you and double take at you. Women with husbands who their husbands fell out and had the dad bod and they psyoped him into thinking that was okay. They're looking back at you while they're holding his hand, right? They do this. Why? Because you have this sex appeal. You have this appeal. Your fuckability scores are now going through the roof. Now everything else becomes a lot easier. Now when you step into a room and let's say you have a deal that you have to make with a specific businessman or something like that, he looks at you and in the back of his head, believe it or not, he's like, yeah, he fucks. He definitely has his way with women. Like and you start to speak smoother, right? Speak smoother because you get to a point where you're like, I'm that guy. Like I really have it. Now, it's one thing to build your body and not build other characteristics. We all know, be multidimensionally jacked, of course. Get all of the other layers figured out. Make sure you have a business that you're running, or you're at a high position in a career to make sure that your finances are in order. Make sure that your mind is clear. Make sure that you understand yourself. Your self-image is great and amazing, and you see yourself as literally the best guy on the planet. That is very important, right? Once you have that, once you transform the body, it unlocks another leverage point for you. It is leverage. If you're an entrepreneur and you're fat or you're skinny fat, whatever that is, unlocking your body becomes another leverage point for you. You don't lose doing that. You actually gain a lot more. People start to respect you more. They see the transformation and people start to say, man, I like you really transformed. Your face looks a lot slimmer. Your muscles are popping out. A lot of these guys who are young, they're bag getters. They go get the money. I know a lot of these guys who are entrepreneurs, they're making 6 figures a month and stuff like that. They still feel insecure in their bodies. When they go to Monaco and they go to Dubai and they rent the supercars, nobody gives a fuck about them. They care about the supercars, right? When they go with the model, maybe they paid the model, because I know guys who pay models, right, just to be around them. Guys who just literally like pay for the box, like they do all that. They feel like shit because they know inherently they don't have that sex appeal. So they have to almost taper that off with buying material shit to masquerade the fact that they feel insecure in their own bodies. If you as a man, you have what they have, or you're in the process of getting what they have materialistically, but you now also have the physique, you fucking win. The game is completely open for you. And the crazy part is, this is the easy part, getting in shape. It's the easiest part. But it's the part that really makes a difference when you have all of your other shit together. If you're broke, obviously make sure that you make money. That should be your priority, because that's how you live in this world, is money. But when you already have the money, now you have to get the body. See, I did the reverse, right? I got the body first. I leveraged the body to make money in all of my other endeavors, whether it be tech, because when I was pitching deals and stuff, I had to look good. I had to stand out, because there were hundreds, if not thousands, of other founders who were pitching other ideas who were in the same rooms that I was. But I won because I had that competitive advantage. I had the physique advantage, right? Again, build the whole fitness thing, even the body game stuff is cool when you already have something that you can use as a base to use the body as leverage. That's when that shit matters. That's when strange things start to happen. That's when people start to notice you. That's when people start to remember your name. That's when women start to blush and they start to look away when they see you and stuff like that. When your face starts to clear up because your diet is good. Right? My face is glowing right now. My diet is pristine. I have some cheat days and stuff like that, but overall pristine. Supplements are being taken. Like all of my vitamins are being taken. Zinc, magnesium, iron, everything starts to look pristine. And you start to move different. Your energy levels start to go up. And when your energy levels are up, your aura goes up. People want to be around you more, right? You have that magnetism. But the body just seals the deal. That's like a no-brainer. That's when you get invited to parties, yacht parties, all these things. When you're not even in the financial tax bracket to be a part. I'm saying this because this is my personal experience. I'm not a multimillionaire, but I have multimillionaires who want to talk to me and who want to be around me and who want to invite me to clubs, invite me to their sections, invite me to all these different things. Now, I'm married at this point. I don't really have a need to attract women. But if I was single, this shit would be easy. This whole game would be easy, right? But in business, it's served me well up until this point, and it will serve me well moving forward, because I've realized the whole body game thing is real. It's a real thing. You can literally create a new reality once you change your body. It's almost like hacking I talk about identity shifting, right? It starts in the mind. It starts with the self-image. But you can literally hack that by simply transforming your body and realizing that you've made a transformation and being the person that you've transformed into physically. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to convince your mind that you're this new person. You've become this new person through the work that you've put in. So, like I said, competence equals confidence, right? You want to get more confident, start to change your body. Start to get lean. Start to build the muscle, right? Change your wardrobe. My wardrobe is nice and simple. Yeah, I got some statement pieces. I have some designer here and there. The designer doesn't make me, though. Anybody can buy that shit. But nobody can buy the body. Nobody can buy the physique. And nobody can buy the mindset that comes with the physique when you're aware of the transformation. A lot of men, they make the transformation, but they're not aware of what that transformation can do in their life. So they don't utilize it. So they cap the potential at which they can actually start to see these massive reality changes in their life. But I'm telling you, man, once you get that body changed and you have shit going for you, and this is why I say this, because I'm not talking to the guys who have nothing going for them. Because when you have nothing going for you, you have to make something happen on that end. And you can build the body as you go. Now, here's the craziest part. It's easier to get in shape when you're broke. It's harder to get in shape when you're rich because you have so much of a surplus. You have so much of an abundance of resources and material things that becomes bottom tier in terms of your priorities. But the guys who are smart, who also have the money, they always win because they know they have to outsource their physique, building their physique to somebody else to give them the roadmap to just get it done faster because they don't have time. When you're broke, you have time. You have a lot of time. You have a lot of time to start building your own financial vehicle. You have a lot of time to be building your body, figuring out this. And maybe you can't hire a coach to help you with your physique and stuff like that. You can go on YouTube for hours and hours a day figuring that out while you're also going on YouTube for hours and hours a day to figure out the business. But when you're rich, it gets harder because the temptations of doing everything else becomes right there in front of you. So you let your body go because you don't realize that when you build the physique, it's compound interest. You may not immediately see the change right away, but over time, once that physique is done and it's sealed and it's created and you have the money, you become untouchable. You become fucking untouchable. And especially when you know yourself. When you have that authenticity, you understand yourself at a root level, shit starts to change. You may make a video on the internet and maybe you're doing marketing for your business and that video takes off. Why? Because you look good. You have that sex appeal. This is why women dominate social media, because they have sex appeal. The craziest part is men can also have sex appeal without putting on makeup, without doing all of the looks maxing shit, right? If you build your body and you take care of your health, you will have sex appeal by default. And then you learn how to communicate, and the best way to communicate is by understanding who you are and speaking from a place of full conviction. You're unstoppable. You can't lose. You can't. There are a lot of guys who have great genetics that let that shit go because they focus so much on the money and they got the money, they realize nothing changed. They feel empty inside. But there's guys who understand that shit and they're like, let me get my physique in check. Let me change this shit and see what happens. Next thing you know, bigger deals start to open up. Because the whole thing when it comes to business, when it comes to money, it's all about relationships. You build better relationships when you have leverage. And you have leverage with the physique. You do. I'm not speaking from non-experience. You guys have seen, I put out that Dubai video for a reason. I got access to rooms that you guys wouldn't have even thought that I would have access to because I always sit down and I talk. You guys don't see me really in action. You guys don't see me move. If I was single, you guys would have seen how that shit worked too. It would have been a whole different scenario. But I'm very happy with where I'm currently at because to me personally, I got the best of the best for me. So I'm chilling. So it even worked at that level. And even my own wife, when she literally, and we'll do a video too. When she first met me, the first thing she saw was like my arm. Like I think I was like holding a drink or something. And she was like, I just saw your arm and then I saw your face and then I saw who you were. And I was like, who is this guy? Right? It's the physique. It's the physique with the charisma. You get the charisma by just having life experience. You get the charisma by doing things, challenging yourself. But the body, that's something that literally, bro, nobody can rent that. All these guys from Dubai and Monaco and all these rich guys, I'm telling you, you may feel intimidated when you see these things. But the reality is they're suffering from insecurities of their own body. They're compensating with all of these material things. They are. Because they don't have the body, because they can't even get themselves to have the discipline at that point because they have so much excess. They have so much. It's harder. I'm telling you, when you're rich, it's harder to get in. This is why I told myself, Martel, get in shape early, maintain a routine, maintain a system to stay. This is why, guys, you've never seen me out of shape. Over the last 10 years, I've never been out of shape. You can go through my Instagram. I've been in shape for the last 10 years. Like elite shape. Because I put a system together. And these guys don't realize, okay, with business, if you're an entrepreneur, with your business, you have a system to make sure that that business continues to generate income. You have ads, you have specific conversion funnels, you have specific metrics that you look at. You get to a point, believe it or not, these guys aren't working 12, 15 hours a day. They may be working 1 to 2 hours a day because they have a system. They have leverage. It's the same with the body. If you're an entrepreneur and you realize this, you realize, shit, I just need a system. I need to build a system so that I don't spend time, because you're not a college kid who has 2 hours, 3 hours a day just to fuck around and mess around with physique stuff, fail. No, you literally might have 45 minutes, 4 days a week to get something in. Right now, me as an entrepreneur, juggling multiple projects, I have maybe 45 minutes to an hour per day for 4 days a week because I'm in the grind phase. Once I make it with the business, maybe I have a big exit, maybe I have some sort of situation where everything's completely systemized to where I don't have to do anything. Because right now, I put on all the hats, right? I'll have the time again. But see, when you're rich, if I was skinny as fuck and I got up on like $2-3 million, the first thing I would be thinking about would not be getting in shape. It would be, how do I enjoy the money that I got? And how do I make more? And how do I do this? And how do I do that? Not knowing that if I just invested a little bit of time, a little bit of my resources towards making sure that somebody gives me the right instruction to get in the best shape of my life would 10x. I wouldn't feel empty. The woman that's next to me, I wouldn't feel like she was with me for my wallet. Because that's how a lot of these entrepreneurs feel, these big time entrepreneurs. A lot of them that don't look good, they know she's with them for the wallet. And that's fine if that's what they're cool with. But as a man, you got ego. You have an ego. Your ego will get smashed when it comes to shit like that. But your ego goes through the roof and you have to control it when you know she's with you because you have that sex appeal. When you know she's always pulling your clothes off and she wants to have sex with you and you're not having to initiate ever. And she's always admiring you. That's a whole different level that most of these rich guys don't fucking feel. They don't. The confidence that you have to be able to go do whatever it is that you want takes off because you have the body. So strange things happen when you transform your physique, when you build that physique and you see yourself in the mirror and you see a whole different man. Strange things happen in the best possible way. Your life starts to get easier. If you're skilled, and you should be skilled, I'm talking to the guys who are skilled. If you're skilled, the business part takes care of itself. Getting attention, marketing, all of that stuff takes care of itself. I used to pitch big visions to big investors. Only reason I could do that was because I looked like a guy who had discipline, a guy who literally had charisma, had an aura, had sex appeal. Sex sells. Not in the way that you think, not saying that you got to go pimp yourself out, but sex sells from the perspective of if you have a sexual attractiveness as a man, you will win in any human interaction. People will be gravitated towards you, but they'll also feel the need to prove themselves to you. The same way that people feel the need to prove themselves to women. They feel the need to prove themselves to you because you have that sex appeal. And again, if you're broke, that's the easiest shit to do. That's the easiest shit you can get done and never have to worry about again because you have all the knowledge, you have all the systems, you're good. Now focus on the money or focus on both. Since you have all that time in the world, what are you doing with your time? If you're rich, it's harder mentally to even wrap your head around that. But the rich guys who are smart know the ROI. They know what happens. They know the transformations in their marriages and their relationships. They know the transformations in the way that their business partners treat them, in the way that their staff treats them when they make that transformation. They know how they feel about themselves. They know that they feel like they can take over everything. They have that competitive advantage. The smart rich guys know. The dumb rich guys, they don't fucking get it. And they won't get it until it's too late. Until they have a health crisis. That's when they want to make a fucking transformation. But to you guys who are smart, take care of your health. Build the health reserves. Build the physique. Get on the body game shit. Because that shit changes lives, bro. It changed mine. I can say that shit from my heart, bro. If I didn't get in shape, I wouldn't even be on this camera right now. You wouldn't know me. I wouldn't have had any business started. I wouldn't have made money. I make really good money now. Like, it's simple, bro. It's simple shit. But it all starts with having the acknowledgement of a beautiful wife. That shit wouldn't happen if I was a skinny, scrawny dweeb, bro. That shit wouldn't even be a thing. And there's a lot of guys who they say, well, let me go get the money right. I need to focus on the money right now. Do you realize that getting in shape is step one? If you can't even discipline yourself to do that and you don't have the money, how the fuck how do you think your discipline is going to apply in business if you can't even follow simple instructions to stop eating so fucking much? If you can't even follow simple instructions to go to a gym for 45 minutes to an hour, if you can't do that, how the fuck do you think you can have the discipline to be able to outwork people to get a promotion? How do you think you'll have the discipline to actually build a business when it's sleepless nights and you don't have that type of energy? Sometimes I don't have energy to go to the gym. I still make that shit work because I know that discipline translates if I'm aware of it. That's the difference between the gym bro and the guy who is in elite aesthetic shape and has a sex appeal. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows how that body can amplify him. And he's fully conscious of it. When you're conscious of it, bro, you're a dangerous guy. When you're conscious of the fact that, okay, let me not make this my entire identity. Let me use my physique as simply just a card that people can see but never mention it. I have the reserves to be able to go and do some degen shit by like, okay, I go out to drink one night, whatever, but I already know the protocols to get my liver back in check. I already know the protocols to make sure that I don't hold any fat. You become dangerous, bro. You start to move in different social circles and people are like, this happened to me. How the fuck can you go out and do all these different things and still look like that? Because I have the system. And I understand human psychology. I understand how to make somebody captivated by the fact that I can do some of the degen shit. I don't need to be super strict because I have the systems. I know how to biohack. I understand what I need. I need methylene blue to make sure that my mind is clear. My mitochondrial health is in check. I make sure that, okay, carb cycling. When is the best time to eat carbs? What do I need to be able to make sure that these carbs can be used as energy? You have to understand these different systems to be able to make sure that your life moves smoothly so that you don't have to focus on the physique shit. The goal, it goes both ways. And I'll leave you guys with this. The goal is you don't want to focus on the physique. You want to get to a point where you don't even think about the physique shit anymore. It's default. Your lifestyle literally makes you jacked, aesthetic, ripped, whatever you want to call it, day in and day out without you thinking. It's the same with money. You want to get to a point where you don't even have to think about making money. Money just already comes. Your bank account keeps growing without you thinking. It's the same fucking mechanisms. It's just different verticals, different parallels. That's all it is. So again, strange things happen when you get in shape, when you hop on body game. I'm gonna start saying it because it's true. Body game is real. It's only real for the guys who have leverage, who already have a foundation to leverage, right? To gain more leverage. It's the same with a fucking credit card or credit. Credit is only used as leverage when you have a foundation to grow off of. The physique is the same way. If you think building a physique is going to make you rich, it's not going to be used as leverage. It can actually be used against you because you spend too much time doing that, but you don't have something that it can amplify. But when you have the foundation, building the physique becomes basically that business credit line that you have that just amplifies everything for you. It gives you that extra leverage. When you have a legitimate business that's printing money, that's profitable, when you have the business credit, you can amplify that business without putting in even more work. It's the same shit. So change your physique. If you're an entrepreneur and you're somebody who wants to transform your physique, I have my fitness company that I started a while ago. I really made it official now, High Status Fitness. Some of you guys have went through it. There's been some big transformations. My one-on-one mentorship is shut off because I have enough guys. I'm working with 12 guys now. But my fitness company, that's what I'm going to be growing and scaling and hopefully exiting as well. And being in a position where like I'm serving entrepreneurs to be able to help them with that part that I've mastered. Right? And building a network on top of that, building a high level network. That's the future for me. But get in shape, fellas. I'm telling you, that shit will change your life. That shit will, if you have a life that is worth leveraging, that is worth having leverage. Again, links will be in the description if you want to tap in with me. I appreciate you and I'll catch you on the next video.